Hello, I'm Shahitha, and welcome to the Okay But Listen podcast. I've honestly been thinking about starting something like this for a really long time now. So, here I am. I'm doing it. If you're someone who's thinking about doing something and just has been putting it off for a really long time, I think you should definitely get up and do what you're thinking about doing. But I kind of wanted to talk about why I'm starting this in the first place. But basically, I think it's really important to kind of raise awareness, especially among our young age group, because growing up, there's so many things to talk about that just aren't talked about enough. And I think it's really important to kind of raise that social awareness and talk about society's expectations that are so unrealistic of this age group. And I think that's really important. So this is something I'm going to continue, hopefully for a while. And what I'm expecting out of this is honestly just positivity. Like, I want to reach an audience, hopefully a larger one. If not, that's fine. But my main goal here is to kind of just be realistic with whatever I'm talking about and hopefully just spread awareness and get people to start talking about things that should be normalized and are okay to talk about. But before I start, I just wanted to preface that obviously I'm not a life expert. I'm also a growing teenager who is still experiencing new things every day. So I just want this to be like a learning space, and I think it's important to kind of share that with other people who are going through the same things. So, yeah, I think some of the things I will be talking about are learning from your mistakes. I think that's really important. Honestly, that is one of the most important things, actually. What makes you who you are. I think mistakes are things that occur like on a day-to-day basis, and I think that's a really big part of who an individual is. So I think that's something that is going to be coming up soon. Another thing I think that's important to talk about is self-love and growth, kind of just having a growth mindset and letting yourself know that like being alone is okay. And I think there's a lot of different parts to self-love that are kind of misinterpreted by like modern society today. So I think that's something really nice to get into, hopefully later. And then I think friendships is a really, really big part of just growing and changing. Like, I think that is one of the things that changes the most throughout your young life. And I think that's really important because a lot of people don't recognize how much of an impact that can truly have on someone. So I think that's also really important. And then I also kind of wanted to get into choosing every day, even if it's messy. I think kind of just accepting that bad things do happen, but I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. So I think that pushing through whatever hills may come your way is important because that ultimately also shapes what kind of person you end up as in the end. But basically, to sum it up, I think it's important to talk about everything we think but may not say out loud. Okay, I kind of wanted to jump into why I started this, and I honestly think it's important to kind of just know that someone else is going through the same things as you, and regardless of whether or not that may be something you want to say out loud, I think it's just important to know. So hopefully this is a resource for people to kind of just understand that a lot of people go through the same thing, and I may be one of those people, someone else may be, so yeah, I think that's something that should be talked about as well. And sometimes, like, even a conversation with just a stranger can kind of just change the way someone thinks about certain things anymore. But honestly, like, if this ends up helping someone feel seen or just heard, that literally means everything to me. So I think kind of just having this be like a space where I feel comfortable enough to talk about things, as well as other people feel comfortable enough to listen. I think that's really important. So yeah. And then kind of just a little bit of like anatomy into the videos. I think I would really like to do shorter episodes, but obviously go into a lot of depth, and whatever ends up being talked about, that's what ends up being talked about. And also, as well as just like kind of receiving other inputs as well from other people, whoever that may be. I eventually definitely want to start having like guests on here, so that may be fun. And yeah, so that's definitely something to look forward to. But yeah, that basically wraps up this little intro episode I had planned. But for my next episode, I'm basically going to be talking about how societal expectations for the age group that I'm in right now, like teenagers, are honestly so unrealistic. And it's kind of just like kind of going a little bit into how everything kind of needs to be figured out at such a young age, and it really messes with a lot of people's heads. And I think that's really, I don't know, it's just, I wouldn't say that it's okay. I honestly think it's not okay. So even though this is something that, especially now in time, that we are probably all actively going through with colleges coming up and stuff like that, ending high school, this is something that like every single teenager goes through. I mean, even whether you end up going to college or not, you still have to make really big decisions. And I think that's something that has been normalized for so long now that I don't really know how I feel about it anymore. And I've heard the same things from other people as well. So I think it's going to be interesting to talk about. But yeah, this does wrap up today's episode. I'm so excited to continue whatever this journey may be. And I'm really, really nervous, but I think this is going to be great. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. And thank you so much to anyone who's watching this, whether it's like 0 or maybe 10 listeners. Thank you. And I'm so excited to grow with whoever's watching. But anyways, thank you for watching the Okay But Listen podcast.